Hey guys, I'm just uploading a quick Chronomancer update video. I haven't actually made one yet, but I finally got through to some endgame. I did about 15 maps. I finished up my third lab and I'm now on the Rapid River, the Recoup node. So I've got both Recoup nodes and the Chronomancer slow node, and that's basically all I need. I'm not really rushing to try and get my fourth Uber lab points, the ascendancy points, because that'll only be for the 33% cooldown. But one quick tip I want to give you guys is that if you're going to do Sanctum, the Trial of Sekemas, for your third ascendancy, you want to actually unspec Eldritch Battery if you're using Eldritch Battery, because your honor, which is like your resolve in the Trial of Sekemas, is based on your life and your energy shield. So you can spec a bunch of increased energy shield and, just put lots of life and ES on your gear, and then you will have a lot more honor. Another thing to consider is your relics. Relics are super important in the Trial of Sekemas. You want honor resistance. This is really good, but I think it only caps up to around 75%. So I was taking honor resistance and increased maximum honor. This way I got up to about 3.5k honor, and it didn't just make things easier, but it just took a lot of stress off of me. The first time I tried it, I had around half, like literally half of what I had when I actually finished the third ascendancy this time. So if you need to do some lower level barriers, the Trial of Sekemas, like level 22 onwards, you can literally farm these to get relics so that you can do your third ascendancy, the high level trials. I think it has to be area level 60 and above. And they added in a nice little chat prompt on the item that will say, you can get your ascendancy points from doing this trial. So there's a lot less confusion now. But yeah, I just thought I would give a few tips about actually getting your third ascendancy. Now we can actually talk about the ascendancy. Chronomancer has exclusive recoup nodes, and this one, the Rapid River, means that we can actually start taking recoup on our tree and on our gear. Normally recoup takes place over 8 seconds, so we literally cut that time in half, and then there is a recoup node on the tree which gives us 25% increased speed of recoup effects, which makes this 3.5 seconds. So I'll just give like a general overview of the tree now, but I'll quickly just go over all of the recoup nodes that I currently have first. You have this big wheel in the middle, which is giving you 12% damage taken recouped as life, and then an extra 15% for physical and elemental damage. Not chaos damage, but it's still pretty nice to take these. You have this recoup speed node and the small nodes, which give you an extra 12% recoup. And then we are taking this node for the damage taken as mana, 20% of it. There's also a belt, which gives you 50% mana recoup, which I want to take next. Basically, I'm making this video right before I swap to Mind Over Matter, just as like a checkpoint for your all of your life recoup nodes, just so that you know what to take before you make the big swap. I've also got 6 jewel sockets. You might notice the tree is a little bit wonky. It's because we're grabbing a bunch of jewels. All of my jewels have 4% damage taken recouped as life and 2% life on kill. This really changed my mapping experience because you don't quite have 100% damaged recouped yet, so you're always going to be a net negative when you take damage. Getting some life on kill was huge. I'm basically getting over 100 back every time I kill something, and you kill a lot of stuff. So again, just a quick look at these jewels. 4% damage recoup and 2% life on kill. This one has spell damage. This one has cold damage, not very much, but oh, it actually has 1%. So all of my other ones have 2%, and this one has 1%. So I'm at 11% of my life. This one is 2%. It's got chaos damage, so it's a dead mod. This one's got spell damage. This one's got spell damage, and it's got energy shield from our equipped focus. I'm not using a focus, so that's also a dead mod. And I can also take this jewel socket next for 3 points if I want to. I think I will do that since I'm level 72. Next, I'll be taking Mind Over Matter at level 73, and then I will grab this extra jewel socket next. So yeah, for the tree, we're still going through spell damage, grabbing this cast speed, grabbing this exploit the elements, grabbing the potent incantation, basically everything from my leveling walkthrough. We're still taking the same nodes. Overexposure, climate change, the big cold wheel up top. It's pretty efficient to take these 4 points for 33 intelligence and 2 attributes of your choice. And then we unspec'd these 2 small points and took this travel node for the jewel socket instead, grabbing Eldritch Battery, grabbing the 3 mana nodes for spell damage per 100 mana, increased mana, and an extra bit of mana regen while moving, because you're basically always going to be moving. The only time you stop moving on this build is when you're casting Comet, because the cast time is so long. We're still taking this Ice Crystal life. I really like this on larger enemies. In maps, you have to kill rares, and a lot of rares are just much larger, so they get destroyed and they get frozen really easily by Frostwall. The tree is honestly really easy to copy. We're not super high level yet. If you want to grab a screenshot or just take a quick look at this, I will try and get all of it in frame the best I can. I think that's good enough. But yeah, I would basically keep an eye out for these jewel sockets. Well, these sapphires. I wouldn't spec these until you actually have good jewels, so just keep that in mind. There's a lot of increased energy shield stuff you can get. There's a lot of spell damage, but you do kind of run out of ideas of what to take after a while. Sometimes I was just getting decision paralysis for what to spend my next like 5 points on, but as long as you're grabbing all of the recoup that you can get, you should be fine. Okay, so let's go over gear. My gear sucks. Honestly, my gear is nothing to write home about. It's a fresh start. It's a league start. I haven't invested too heavily into my build. I'm using a +2 cold wand with 51 spell damage. It has some mana. All the suffixes are dead. I mean, the freeze build-up is freeze build-up, but it really doesn't do anything for me. I wish I had cast speed. When I upgrade this, I think I'm just going to go straight up +4 cold. Big mana, big spell damage, and cast speed. I really want cast speed on this because some of the cast times on spells are just a bit too high. And I'm really missing the cast speed. I'm currently wearing 2 unique items. I'll talk about this one first, the Alcaira Blazon Crest Shield. The stats on the shield itself, the armor, is 15 armor. It's pretty terrible, but it has a unique modifier, which is damage blocked is recouped as mana. This is going to be huge once I swap to Mind Over Matter, because obviously mana will be my health bar. We have 40% chance to block, so a lot of the time we're going to block damage instead of taking damage, and then recoup it over 3.5 seconds, which is just extra sustain. I think this is going to be quite underrated. Right now I've only done a few T3 maps, and the only real threat is chaos damage, so I'm just hoping that this shield kind of carries me. I did Varl the block chance. The shield is pretty cheap, so grab a hold of it, add a socket to it, Varl it, and try and get some extra block chance or something else that's useful for your build. I'm not familiar with all of the shield corruptions, so the other unique I'm using is Blue Flame Bracers. Now, some people who came to my stream were asking why I was using Fireball on a cold build. It's because of this unique modifier. 100% of fire damage is converted to cold. So I'm basically going, a bunch of projectiles come out and it will freeze everything. This is currently my freeze build-up setup. I'm using Fireball. I tried every other fire skill and it just doesn't work as well. If you've shopped around, you know that some people are using Fireball and Frostwall just on Stormweaver, and that's their damage. It's a really good combination. It has a lot of coverage, but the cast time on Fireball is kind of high. That's why I really want some cast speed. I'm really hurting for some cast speed. My other items are all just rares that have pretty decent life and mana. You can kind of shop around for these, but those are the 2 premium stats that I'm looking for. It's just big life, big mana. My chest is actually just pure energy shield because I'm Eldritch Battery, so that gives me essentially more mana. But the suffixes are kind of bad. Ultimately, each of my items has good life and mana on it, and then I just have really bad resistances. So my goal as I move forward with this build is that I'm just going to try and get more resistances on my build, try and get capped, try and get chaos capped, 1 resist on each of my rings, on an amethyst ring, so I'm getting even less elemental resistances. My amulet is basically 1 resist because it's 6 lightning res. My helmet's okay, but again, it's 1 resist. My belt is 2 resists, but it's 21 and 30%. We're really struggling out here, honestly. Like, if I go over to my resistances, I'm on 52, 47, 58, and 39. I'm nowhere near capping, but we're not really dying too much. Our main weakness right now is just physical damage, and I guess we take chaos damage more than anything else. I'll give you a quick look at my gem links. My skill gems, I'm using Fireball with Unleash. You could swap this out with Arcane Tempo just for the cast speed. I've got it over here. I'm just trying it out, really, but I do like Unleash because you can just cast once and then use your other skills. Like I go doosh doosh, put up all my skills, and then I've got 2 more Fireball charges and I can go pop off. It's pretty satisfying to play, and a lot of stuff gets frozen, and then you just left click it with Cold Snap like we were doing before. But yeah, back to Fireball, we were using Unleash, Scattershot, and Wild Shards. Wild Shards is really satisfying when this activates. You get so many projectiles, so many explosions, and just a lot of stuff gets frozen. Once I get an extra Jeweler's Orb for this, I will add Glaciation to it, most likely, just so I can get more freeze build-up. More stuff gets frozen for less, and that will just feel really nice, and it means that we can Cold Snap more enemies. So let's go over to Frostwall. I think Frostwall has stayed the same as well. It's Spell Cascade, Ingenuity, and then Glacier. This hasn't changed since my walkthrough, my walkthrough video. Frost Bomb is also just fast forward and strip away. I've just been flexing different support gems in this slot. I'm not really sure what to take. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Frostbomb is the MVP, just an extra -40 cold res, but I'm not really sure what to put here yet. I'll have to really test a few more things. Cold Snap is our main damage dealer, of course. We freeze the whole screen, then we just left click, we just go... Like I said before, it's really satisfying. Controlled Destruction, Considered Casting for more hits, and Cold Pen. Cold Pen, just because some white mobs have resistance or they have a higher ailment threshold or different resistance values. I'm not always frost bombing and cursing just white mobs, so this is kind of working. It generally feels like it works. 30% extra cold pen. Again, there might be something that's better. If you have suggestions, then I'm happy to take suggestions. Hypothermia as a curse, pretty much only on bosses. Again, we're on heightened curse and persistence. Comet is for biting frost. I'm actually swapping this out on bosses because I want bosses to stay frozen. Biting frost consumes the freeze like cold snap does, but it does a lot more damage. I would probably use unleash or spell echo. Spell Cascade, just one of the jewels that I'm not using, just to get extra repeats on Comets, because, I don't know, just seeing more Comets come down from the sky is really satisfying. Elemental Focus, because we don't need this to do elemental ailments, we just freeze something and then we hit it hard with Comet, so more damage, makes sense. And then Concentrated Effect again, more area damage. Since we're stacking mana, we are of course using Archmage. It gives us a ton of extra damage. I still need to get an extra 10% quality on this. So yeah, that's just a quick run over of the Chronomancer. I'm going to be streaming right after I upload this video, so if you want to check out the build and see what it's like, then stop on by. I'm always talkative and chatty, and I like taking suggestions. I like trying to help people with their build. If you're playing a Chronomancer and you just want to copy, or you just want to see what my build is like with the Recoup setup, then maybe I'll see you over there. Leave a comment if you have any questions. I really do try my best to help. Thanks for watching this video. Good luck with your leveling. And I should be back with another update over the next few days when I'm much higher level and pushing into higher tier maps. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.